Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez are apparently in talks for a rematch in 2026, and my only question is why? Why? Outside of a massive payday, the first fight wasn't necessarily a competitive fight, and if they do it again, I think it's going to be less competitive. I don't think this is going to go very well for one Saul Canelo
Alvarez, even after being dominated in September, refuses to accept reality and remains adamant that he wants another shot at Terence Crawford, convinced that a fully healthy arm would change everything. However, experts from Eddie Hearn to Antonio Margarito are urging him to stop, warning that Canelo is worn down and no longer physically capable of tracking Crawford down. What he's chasing isn't just a dangerous rematch, but a potential career-ending mistake, and stepping back into the ring with Crawford could lead him straight into the end of his career.
Looks like it's the end of an era. Canelo Alvarez spoke about his retirement plans and has confirmed that the end is near and that his time inside the ring is coming to an end relatively soon. Canelo Alvarez said that he is now in the stage wherein he's also thinking a lot about how he wants to focus as well as enjoy the fruits of his labor, not just for himself but for his family as well. The Mexican fighter who made his professional boxing debut at the age of 15 years old and has been professionally fighting for almost 20 years now said the following, and I quote, "From the age of 28 to 29, this is the age where I have felt best. I've always said that at 37 years old is a good age to enjoy what I have done with my family, other things in my career, and that's what I say. But I said I would debut at 18 and I did it at 15.
Eddie Hearn, someone inside Canelo's own circle, has delivered the harshest reality check, admitting that Canelo's camp always knew Crawford's style was a nightmare matchup. Hearn says Canelo isn't just facing a great fighter, he's facing his stylistic kryptonite. With Crawford's movement and switch hitting neutralizing Canelo's power, it wasn't a bad night, Hearn suggests, but a bad matchup. And Canelo's refusal to accept that his aging legs can't keep up anymore is blinding him to the danger of a rematch.
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of wording because Canelo doesn't enter a fight without some kind of wording in terms of rematch clause. But he's just not going to beat Terence Crawford. It's the style's all wrong for him, the movement's all wrong for him. And that's what I said. You know, going into the fight, I really believed Crawford would win in the style that he did. And then just as it got a bit closer at the weigh-in, I was like, my heart was like, nah, Canelo's got this, you know. And but deep down, I kind of knew that it was all wrong for him. And to be honest with you, Canelo knew it was all wrong for him. You know, I had the conversation with Canelo Alvarez probably, I don't know, a year ago, about Terence Crawford. And he was like, no, why would I fight Terence Crawford? Like, you know, he hates that style. And when he fought Charlo, I remember him being really disappointed that Charlo just moved and moved and moved. And that's why he ended up fighting Munguia and Berlanga, because they're guys that wouldn't do that and they'd stand in front of him. And that suits him down to the ground. Anyone that's got movement like Skull, like Crawford, like, you know, he really struggles against. And when he was a bit younger and fresher, he could probably get away with it and cut it off. And, you know, but then you see guys like Bivol and, you know, Crawford and these guys beat him because of that movement. And I don't know what he does again. I mean, you know, the biggest money fight out there for him is the rematch with Crawford.
Analysts are now openly pointing to Canelo's physical decline, with outlets like Sports Illustrated and Fan Nation arguing that he wasn't just beaten by Crawford, he was food for him. Their harshest criticism centers on Canelo's knees. After nearly 2 decades in the sport, the loss of cartilage has turned him into a flat-footed stalker, where he once cut off the ring with explosive pressure. He looked stuck in mud against Crawford in late 2025. Experts warn that worn-out joints can't be fixed in a training camp. And Crawford, moving like a track star, spent the entire fight walking Canelo around the ring and making him miss. The consensus is simple and brutal. Canelo can no longer move fast enough to land the one punch he needs to win.
Is it dangerous to Canelo's legacy to lose to the best of this era and the best of the era previously? I don't know. Like, did Canelo ever have an era where he was the best in the world? Maybe that's the question he's still trying to answer himself, and why he would want this rematch with Crawford. But when I see this news coming out of him wanting the rematch, having the elbow surgery, maybe in his mind going, okay, my elbow wasn't fresh, I wasn't able to turn my shots over, so that's why I can win this rematch. I like the competitive nature of it. I don't like the fight for him. I think the matchup's all wrong for Canelo. I think this style of fight, in terms of what Terence Crawford does well, is counterpunching off the front and back foot, his ability to go from range with his jab, be inside with it too, protect himself, catch counter with punches. He's got just a different timing that Canelo really has on his punches, and then you pair it with the volume that Terence Crawford can throw and his feet and his angles. This is the bad matchup for Canelo. We've seen it already, and I just don't know if the rematch goes any differently. I think Terence Crawford would have Canelo in real trouble the second time around. And again, I'm not going to sit here and be like, he'd knock him out cold, because Canelo's got an iron chin, but if he didn't already in the first fight, he would do a number. Texas Instruments 83 plus on Canelo if they rematch. I truly believe that, because I think the matchup's all wrong. I think that both guys learned something about the other in that fight, and the guy that took more away as far as data and things to use was Terence Crawford, because what Canelo brought was the best version of him, and it wasn't enough. And if Terence brought the best version of him and it was enough, because I think both guys brought their best version, but the fight played out how the styles will always match up. Canelo is best when a guy will stand in front of him and go upper body movement, planted feet, let's fight exclusively in the phone book. Terence Crawford is at his best when he can dog walk someone, walk the dog on them literally, have them on a leash, walking around the ring, and then planting his feet, throwing, circling, feinting off the back foot, then coming back, counter punches. He has every tool in the shed, and I think skill.
Canelo's physical decline weren't already alarming. Former champion Antonio Margarito has added a chilling prediction, saying the rematch will be even easier for Crawford. He points to what insiders call the solved puzzle theory. Once an elite technician like Crawford downloads an opponent, he never struggles with them again. Margarito believes Crawford has already mastered Canelo's timing, feints, and power, leaving no surprises for a second fight. And with Canelo unable to reinvent his style this late in his career, Margarito warns he'd be walking into a slaughter. Facing an opponent who knows every move he's going to make before he even makes it.
¿Qué me dice de la gran pérdida que tuvo México ahorita ante Terence Crawford en parte de Canelo? Una pérdida muy dura para el boxeo mexicano, pero ¿qué piensa usted de eso? ¿Qué pasó ahí esa noche?
Sí, mira, realmente yo siempre lo he dicho, ¿no? Realmente, mira, yo siempre lo dije que Canelo, pues aprendió mucho y la verdad digo mis respetos, ¿no? Pero creo yo, sinceramente, pues que Canelo realmente pues escogían rivales para poder que se viera ganador él. Yo sé que arriba del ring no sabemos qué pueda pasar, ¿no? Pero realmente yo creo que no peleó con los mejores para mí, ¿no? Y realmente yo creo que Crawford pues tenía el estilo para ganarle. Y sinceramente me han preguntado y yo pienso realmente que en una revancha le gana más fácil Crawford a Canelo. Digo, desgraciadamente pues es mexicano, ¿no? Y haz de cuenta, a veces pues tengo problemas con los mexicanos, pero realmente yo es lo que yo pienso, ¿no? Del boxeo de Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo is a good fighter and he learned a lot. I knew it was going to be a tough fight, but I knew Crawford was going to win. And I was going for the Mexican because I'm Mexican, of course, but Canelo used to choose his fighters, but this time he couldn't do that.
In the rematch, he thinks Crawford can beat him easier, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be easier for Crawford to beat him.
The warnings aren't just technical, they've turned personal. Tension between the camps has reached a boiling point, especially from Terence Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre. Bomac isn't merely telling Canelo to back off. He's issuing heated threats. After the first fight, he was caught on video shouting at Canelo's side, warning him not to cross the line again.
So there was this big blow up thing, like I was scared of him. And that's why I was like, man, I ain't scared of shit. You know what I mean?
Big blow up thing.
Yeah, because he was just like, you know what I mean? He said he didn't say it, you know, but they was saying in the
Took
back
that personal.
that yeah, like I'm scared of him. I'm like, scared of you? Like, me? Oh, man. So I'm like, when this bell ring, I'm coming right at him. Coming right at him, you know, and just let him know that I'm going to be here all night. I ain't going nowhere.
Talk me to the fight.
The hostility comes from what Crawford's team sees as Canelo's disrespect before and after the fight, trying to big-time them in negotiations and now downplaying the loss. To them, Canelo is refusing to give Crawford his credit. And when a trainer like Bomac takes things this personally, the mindset shifts from simply winning to punishing. The message is clear. In a rematch, Crawford won't just try to outbox Canelo, he'll try to hurt him to make a statement to his entire corner.
Like I said, the Ring Magazine reporting as of about 4 days ago now, I'm a little late to the news, but Canelo Alvarez wants Terence Crawford rematch, says negotiations are underway for 2026. Now, first off, I expect nothing less from Canelo. He wants to get that fight back because, well, number one, it's a somewhat advantageous matchup at 168 for him, and there's not many other matchups at 168 for Canelo right now that offer him any sort of advantages. Imagine you try to put him in there with the Hamza Shiraz or someone with a bigger frame, longer, taller. I mean, even David Benavidez, before he went and knocked out and absolutely smoked Anthony Yard, was saying, you know, I'm still entertaining the potential of a Canelo fight. There's not many other people at 168. I mean, maybe if you did Chris Eubank Jr., but after he loses to Conor Benn, what does that fight really even mean? Canelo says, I want my run back. I want my get back, but I gotta be honest, I don't know how this goes well for Canelo in a rematch. Honestly, you look at the first fight, and the things that plagued Canelo were essentially the things that plague him against most boxers. His flat feet, his lack of movement, his lack of volume. He couldn't get to Terence. He was overextending. He was getting caught with counter shots as he overextended. The big shown around, memed, and replayed moment of the fight is Canelo trying to throw a hook and a right hand, and Terence Crawford slipping on the outside and banging the left-hand counter behind it. Canelo was beaten to the punch from distance. He was beaten in exchanges, and even in points in the fight, he was beaten.
Despite all the warnings, Canelo clings to one excuse for a rematch: his elbow. Reports after the loss revealed he needed surgery in late 2025. He believes a healthy arm would change the outcome. But analysts from the ring and others quickly dismissed this, pointing out that a healthy elbow doesn't fix slow feet. W80 analysis confirmed Canelo was outboxed, not outmuscled. He couldn't reach Crawford. It's not because he couldn't punch, but because he couldn't get in range. By focusing on the injury, Canelo falls into the classic fighter delusion, thinking a minor physical tweak can bridge a massive skill gap, a dangerous mindset when challenging the pound-for-pound king.